Hello. Today I'm going to talk about how the second industrial revolution developed from the first and how it became imperialism and global change in the 19th century. The first industrial revolution began in the late 1700s and focused mainly on taxes, stem power, and early factory systems, especially in Britain. But industrialization didn't stop there. Instead, the technologies and ideas from the first wave gradually evolved into what historians call the second industrial revolution, which brought new industries, global competition, and stronger connections to imperial expansion. Technological innovations in steel. One of the biggest differences between the first and second industrial revolution was the type of technological being developed. The first revolution focused mostly on mechanized textile production, coral, iron, and steam engines. The second industrial revolution, which started around the mid-1800s, introduced new technologies like electricity, chemicals, oil, and a special steel. New production methods allowed steel to be produced faster and much more cheaper. The mass production of steel had a huge impact on infrastructure. Steel was stronger and more durable than iron, which meant it could be used to build railroads, bridges, skyscrapers, and large ships. Civilizing mission and social Darwinism. As European nations expanded their empires during their period, they often justified imperialism with the idea of civilizing mission. The civilizing mission was the belief that Europeans had a duty to bring their culture, religion, and technology to people they considered less developed. In reality, this idea was often used as an excuse to control land, resources, and labor in the colonized regions. Another idea used to justify imperialism was social Darwinism. Charles Darwin's ideas about natural selection to human societies. Some Europeans argued that stronger nations were naturally meant to dominate weaker ones. These theories helped justify the exploration of colonized people, even though in reality imperial rule often caused severe suffering and inequality. Industrialization struggles in Russia and China. Not every country industrialized at the same pace. Russia and China both struggled to modernize during the 19th century, and there were several reasons why. In Russia, industrialism was slowed by its autocratic political system and the persistence of serfdom until 1861. Much of the population were peasants tied to architectural work, and the country lacked the strong middle class and industrial investment seen in places like Britain or the United States. Although Russia eventually began building railroads and factories, the process started later and developed unevenly. China faced different obstacles during the 1800s. The Qing dynasty was dealing with internal rebellions, economic problems, and pressure from foreign powers. Western nations forced China into unequal trade relationships, and controlled many ports. These disruptions made it difficult for China to focus on building a modern industry economy. What word is this?
Deindustrialization.
That in India. India provides an example of how imperial rule could actually reverse industrial development, a process called that. Before British rule, India has a strong tradition of manufacturing, especially in textiles and handicrafts. However, when Brazil took control, the colonial government reorganized the Indian economy to benefit British industries. Instead of producing finished goods, India was pushed into supplying raw materials like cotton and other resources that were shipped to British factories. The structural turned India into a superior supplier of raw materials and a market for British products, strengthening British industrial economy while weakening India's. In conclusion, the Second Industrial Revolution expanded on the technological changes of the first and introduced powerful new industries like steel and electricity. These innovations help transform infrastructure and global economies today. And that's it. Thank you.